It will be a little, again, as I told you, we have, were you guys able to see that last week's lecture and the project that I have given to you guys? Were you able to see that lecture recordings, both recordings of the bootstrap one and the one that was happened with one of the section? Were you guys able to see that? Okay, Farani has seen that. Anyone else other than Farani? Okay. Okay, wonderful. So I hope you guys will be working on your project, and next week we are going to have our exam. And for exam, I will just put a detailed announcement about that one, and I hope that it would be a bit familiar with like bit similar with what we had already done in our midterm. It might look like much more like the midterm, but let's see. We'll just start that one. So let me share my screen. All right. So this is our week 14 that we'll be just talking about, and it's basically Unit 7, entrepreneurship in web development. So web development trends, they've discussed what are the different trends that web development has gone through over the period, like over the years, and how much there was a change in that one. So let's start discussing that. If I see if I have a message or not, no. So we'll first of all see in today's discussion what are web trends and why we learned those trends and what were the web designs in early 90s and 2000s and 2010s. What were the different trends that were used? So let's see that. As web developers, we must extremely be conscious about current trends and fashions of website. This is very important, because at times people might not look at the current trends and they might end up having a project that becomes useless for a lot of people. So that's what we have to, as a developers, we should be always on our toes and trying to look into that, what's going on for the fashion of the websites. Nothing turns off your users like a design that looks old. So again, if a design is basically not up to the mark, not new, people might very easily ignore your website, and it looks like old-fashioned website. Similarly to web technologies, web trends change very quickly. So as the technologies are changing, there are lots of technologies that were there, they have faded out, and there are lots of technologies that were not there and they have come over the, they have taken the leads from the other. So we need to keep in mind the technologies as well as the trends. What are the the trends that people are following? We need to just keep an eye on those trends always, just to have that specifically that one, that our website does not go off as it should not look old. So what are our trends? Require constant education, research, and learning of new technologies. It's a generally a joke we hear from people that once you have come into technology, you will never be an old guy. You'll have to always be on your toes. You'll have to always learn. You'll have to always do research on the different projects, and you will have to keep yourself always updated if you are in the technology, right? So we have to just keep that in mind. So require constant education, research, and learning of new technology. Trends can be pushed by new hardware or software. Yes, there might be a change in overall the devices, the structures of the devices and anything. So you'll have to keep yourself, coping up with those technologies or the hardware software changes that are happening. As well as specific trends can be spotted, but sometimes it can be hard to quantify. So we can just find out, or we can spot some of these specific trends, but sometimes it's difficult to find out what's going on. So while many web development consulting opportunities should be able to critique websites, suggest improvements and ideas, need to know about them to stay on the top. So again, you need to just always keep an eye on the competitors, you so-called quote unquote competitors, but generally speaking, we're saying that you should be able to critique other the websites. So we can have a look at the website and we can just find out that what is the problem in this website, how the improvements and we can improve, make up improvements, and that I have a lot of students who did their projects on just on the improvements of the websites, So we need to keep that in mind as well. So past trends in 19s. So there were, what was the problem? What were the things driving causes of the design? Like what was the something that people used to keep in mind when they were designing websites? Slow internet connection. Do you know that? Of course, just to get a picture or just to get something like a very small size, you need to always you had to like internet was so slow that at times you would really want to you would really want that my website should not contain something which is not being accessed, which is not being which is not being good or with the internet speed that might know. I'll tell you a little real world case, and for your information, as I told you that in exam these real world cases will be important, and I might be asking from the real world cases or the class discussions more than what is written in the slides or so what is written there. So one of the real world case or one of the real world study that I would just tell you today is in relation with the frames in HTML. I'll tell you one very interesting thing about frames in HTML. Do you guys know that we have frames in HTML? And the frames, it's generally said about the frames that on the, and I'm talking about this again, 90s trend, that never use frames on the first page of your website. Now, can you guys guess why that would be? People used to say that never use frames, and it's exactly related to the point that we are discussing right now over here. That people used to say that never use the frames on the first page of your website. Can you guys guess what might be the reason there? Why would people say that don't use frames on the first web page? Again, in the 90s trend, and again, having those problems and limitations over there in front of us. What do you think? Why would someone require or suggest you don't use frames on the first page of your website? What do you guys think? Yes. Yes, it takes time in loading. That's good. That's interesting. Anyone else? Right, like let me just see the message. Sorry. Yeah. It takes time in loading the homepage. Yes, Dhrutiman, that's right. Anyone else? Any other thing that you feel? What else do you feel that might be a problem of not using? Of course, this is Dhrutiman has given a right description of that one, but I want that if someone else can also basically make me understand what's going on. Yes, anyone else? I would like someone else to do that as well. If your website take time to load, people leave the website. Yes, Natik. Yes, that's wonderful. And yes, that is one very good reason. Of course, Dhrutiban also said that people will just forget about your website if that's taking so much time in loading because of these slow internet connections. There were slow internet connections, and there were people were just reluctant of using the your website. So limited computer hardware. Hardware was also limited, and no advanced languages available. Basic browsers were there. 90s were a tough time for our web generation, for web people. It was a tough time for us. Anyhow, so Pastor, the very first website. This was the first website. I might have shown you in the first classes, but this was the first website. So in the 90s, early years of internet, largely text-based, dominated by now obsolete technologies. Yahoo, GeoCities, and ICQ was there. Hotmail used to be like this. Alta Vista was a search engine that used to be, people used to use that. So these are all have gone away. So that's why that there were technologies, and these technologies were typically ruling the world at that time. They were the ruling the world at that time. In 1996, Yahoo was introduced, and Yahoo was like this. The Yahoo search page was all crowded and there was lots of things that Yahoo used to show. Alta Vista was there. Alta Vista was a web search engine. If you guys have anyone has seen that was another search engine that people were using at that time. So bright colors, busy backgrounds, crowded pages, animated GIFs and frames. Even though, as I said, frames were not that much encouraged on the first page, but still frames were one of the thing that was used. Crowded pages, lot of things on the web page. UI is all crowded. Background is very busy. You are having so many pictures and so many things. Space Jam's homepage is still up. Sums up something about. So let's, this is the page that I will just click on that one. I hope it's still on. Let's see this page. Do you guys see that it might be taking? Have you clicked on that one? It's taking a long time to open up. We'll see that when it opens up, right? So okay, it does not come up with that one. Okay, so now let's come back over here and let's see that what else we were doing. Move from frames and text later 90s, like later part, from frames and text to table-based design. We had the table-based design. People started using tables for making layouts, and they were using that kind of thing over there. And then so we did was give web designers more options when creating a website. Tables quickly grew in complexity, paying little attention to semantic accessibility. They were themselves very complex. So people just very quickly found out that table is also not the right solution. Table is not the right solution, right? Remember that. So W3C, that 1998, W3C is the consortium, but World Wide Web Consortium that basically defines the standards for that one. And in 1998, they just said that HTML4 is a recommendation, and then HTML4 was introduced. Yahoo in 2002 was like this, it was using like table-like structures and these structures over there. Alta Vista became like this. It also came up with the table structure. And if you look at their websites in the beginning, they were not table-based, they were different. And now they've started to become that table-based. Okay, so past tense, early 2000s, driven an increase in download speed, increase of hardware, was now possible to begin using low quality video, graphics, and photos more extensively. So we got the option of now using more and more like graphics, more and more, some low quality videos. But again, remember low quality videos, because if you are doing that high quality videos, you will never be able to run them. Tables become harder and harder to use with these news elements. Businesses began to take the web seriously. Now businesses had started thinking about it. Okay, web is something very serious, because people were not taking this web as serious. It's not open. I don't know. Okay. And then what happened? Shockwave and particularly Flash sites began to develop. Flash. Can anyone tell me Flash is the product of which company now? It used to be of Macromedia, but now Flash is product of which company? Which company has purchased it, or you say that now the company is using that? Wonderful, Natik. I was expecting answer from you. It's now Adobe product, right? It's an Adobe product. Rativan, thank you. So now Flash is Adobe product. It used to be Macromedia. So of course it's written on the slides. I did not see that. Anyhow, so Macromedia, now it is Adobe. And Shockwave files were large, often unreasonable for dial-up connections. Flash files were smaller, better suited for the web. Flash animations and interactions could create more complex sites than the HTML table. So again, we started using something Flash, something like the Macromedia's products, and we were just doing that. Okay, so the first Flash site, as per their idea, was this one. Let's see if that really opens. If that opens. Flash began the idea of interactive website that continues. Rather, if I remember one another website, I'll just tell you. I may be able to open that, and that is called I4U. Oh, I just made a mistake. I4U.com. It's not opening that one as well. You see that's not coming up. Let's see if I4U comes up. I'll just show you. So Flash began the idea of interactive website that continues this day. So that Flash idea is still continuing, and we are still trying to run that. So mobile sites began in the 2000s. Mobile sites also began. The phone and other PDAs become powerful and enough to support web and internet connections. Typically single column, mostly text and pictures. Mobile sites designed and separate from a main site would redirect users from the main site to the mobile site when someone is accessing that through the mobile device, right? So mobile sites started to come into like this. Now CSS began to take off in early 2000s. So CSS was not taken very seriously in the beginning. HTML by itself used to do this styling issues and styling things, but then came that CSS was taking its part. It was trying to overtake these other giant other styling issues. So CSS has started making its impact in 2000s, early 2000s. Began to show its advantages over tables and Flash, separated design from the content. The most important part of this was separated design from the content. Now it really took the design from the content, and it just shows that, okay, now you can just separately design, and the content will be HTML and the design will be different by using the CSS. Reduced markup clutter and created cleaner code, smaller code, quicker response times. CSS, it really took off, in a really smart fashion, and it just really blown away a lot of web technologies. Same time as JavaScript and server-side scripting, PHP, for example, for creating interactive and animated web page. Now listen, you might know that, and again, this is something not in slides, and you might be asked in the exams that, and it's something that I should have discussed while we were discussing JavaScript. JavaScript primarily was not for server-side development or for desktop development. I hope you make sense what I'm trying to say. JavaScript in the beginning was not meant for for the server-side development or desktop publishing. So, but later on, with the advent in Node.js and things like that, it really changed, and now changed in a way that it has now being used on the server and in the client, or in the desktop application, the console applications as well. Now, can I ask a quick question? Of course, Netik, I know you would be able to answer, but I would like others to come in. And Jyotiben and Netik, because you have already replied to my two questions before, so I would request you guys to be silent. So how or which technology actually enables JavaScript to be used on the client, on the server side, as well as for the console-based applications? What is that framework or the background that allows us to do that? Netik and Jyotiben, if you guys know the answer, you can just write a yes in the chat window. If you know the answer, of course, and you should definitely. So just write a yes in the chat window. No need to write the answer. Thank you, Netik. I know you should know that. Jyotiben, is it a yes from your side as well? Okay, yes, of course. Now my question is to the others, because I knew that someone of you will reply that. That's why I did not ask answer from you guys. Anyone else come up and let me know what enabled JavaScript usage on servers as well as on console-based applications. If you don't know the answer, I would like to have IDK, I don't know, from you. And if you are not replying anything, I would understand you are not in class. So either I need a yes or the answer, or I need IDK from you. Okay. Tharani IDK, Darshan IDK, Shriyam IDK. So should I consider that? Okay, Sikkim IDK, Sikkim Neral, Shriyam, Darshan Kumar. Okay. Okay, so Athulia says IDK, Priyank says IDK. So should I consider that all those who have replied IDK or yes, they are in the class, otherwise the rest of the people are not there, right? Okay, no issues. Yes, Netik, can you answer that now? Netik, can you answer that now? Wonderful. So please, those who do not know, look at that Node.js. And again, as I said, that these are the tricky things, little tricky things that I might ask you somewhere in exam. So Node.js actually enabled the JavaScript to be so powerful, the powerful that the JavaScript is right now. Make sense, everyone? So same time as JavaScript and server-side scripting, PHP, etc. for creating interactive animated web pages. So at that time, Flash was taking over. The JavaScript was maturing enough, maturing very fast. And then PHP and those things were creating the dynamic website. So the world was changing. So in 2003, they say that voice XML was become a W3 standard, or voice was tried to be introduced by W3C. All right, so now in 2009, W3C just introduced these technologies, and 2009 Yahoo changed to this one. Looked much better. It was still very busy, but looked much better. In 2009, Alta Vista became like this. You see how fast websites adapted their trends, adapted the changings, because they were now taking the changes, and they knew that now they have to change. They have to change. They have to just understand that, okay, now if you will not change, you will be thrown away from the market, right? So Alta Vista also changed that one. Current trends, and it's 2010s, and they are not even current. Now we are in 20s right now. Really driven by new interactive and powerful devices, tablet, phones, laptops, etc. There are lots of touch screens over there, increased resolutions. So many devices are so powerful. It was no longer feasible to design a different page per device. Also no longer necessary. So, it was not possible now in 2010s, because devices were so much that if you were thinking that I will make one web page for one device, that used to happen before in 2000s. 2000 people used to make two type of website. One will be for mobile, one will be for desktop publishing. But now the amount of the screen sizes available, the amount of the devices, versatile type of devices being available in the market, you would never be able to just make a one version for everything. Like a one for this device, one for that device, one for that device. No, rather there were different techniques that were used. So many devices are so powerful, it was no longer feasible to design a different page, and it's not necessary as well. Responsive. Here comes the trend of responsive web design, RWD. Designed to look good on variety of different screen sizes, resolutions, and layouts. You have to create a website that looks like good on all the devices. So for that, you are taking help from CSS. You are taking help from CSS designing and all those things, and you are creating that one. This is a responsive web design that you see, and you can just later on look at that one. In the 10s, there was a flat design also introduced, lacks gradients, lacks skeuomorphism, and it uses solid, vibrant colors. So skewing and all those things were taken out, and the gradients were less, and crisp typography. So the typography, so types like text should be visible. Windows and Metro is based on Flash design, has pushed it into the mainstream. Windows 8 was introduced with this concept of flat design. Minimalist design emphasizes simplicity, ghost buttons, long shadows. So it will just make long shadows and all things, but it would be lacking the gradients. It would be lacking the Windows 8 Metro. This was the Windows 8 Metro design that was influenced by that one. Websites, the threadless website, the websites are also starting adapting the same. Oh, sorry. Okay, for you is not also accessible. This was the first website that I actually saw that at that time. Anyhow, so then material design comes up, and right, these days we use material design, uses shadow and effects and concept of movement and depth to create realistic designs, shares many features with flat design. It's basically more related to the flat design. But material design is basically, it shares the features with the flat design, color scheme, fonts, etc. Initially used for app design, but has extended to websites. Previously we used to use that for the apps only, right? And late 2000s, 2010s, they have just shifted to websites as well. We'll be using the material design on the website as well. There are some examples over here. If you want to go through, you can just go through. This is the material design over here with the buttons and everything. They look like very clean and composed. Now, storytelling design, we have storytelling design visually tells a user a story as they navigate to the page. So these are the examples of that one, that they will be just, it looks like they will be reading a story and going from one page to the other, one page to the other. That is storytelling design. Let's take an online demo of this plus. So it says try plus now, try the online demo. And you can have a look at that one later on, Inception explained, spin like space needles, etc. Another thing that we have introduced is parallax design, creates illusion of depth. Images move at different speeds, changing the size of dimension, powerful images, and created typography. So this was another like parallax design. If you have ever seen a website that is parallax. Okay, now just click that. Your new web server is ready to use, it says. Oh, did I close that by mistake? Sorry, it was just I closed that browser by mistake. And now I'll have to do all those rituals for logging in. Okay, now I'm logged in. So here it is the file. Sorry, I just removed that. We are in the parallax design or material design, storytelling, and then parallaxes. Now, Google Maps, much more visually interesting than previously. New customization options are available, functionality and visually appealing. It's of course the It started becoming more and more. And soundcityproject.com, you can just have a look at that. No more slideshows. Web pages used to have 3 to 5 slides. No one reads those. Large pictures are now the fashion. Professional photos. So again, professional photos and the bigger pictures on the web page. That is the trend going on right now. You see like this on the background, there is a big picture and full screen photo. And now just so there's a little message being there. People have started liking this type of screens, much more. Speed, despite the new multimedia elements, sites have to be fast, must look quickly on desktop, phone, tablet. Test on multiple devices, different conditions, investigate your hosting company's claims. You have to just keep all these things in mind. Sometimes companies claim that your website will be very fast, you'll be getting maximum speed and things like that. But when you just install them, when you just publish them, and you really get the service, you come to know that they're worst of that category. So you have to keep in mind, because when you are just doing your server up, you need to have a better understanding of what is going on. So you need to have to just look at that, all those issues. So simple designs and minimal designs, large images and white space, minimal text are there. Icons, minimal icons, one-page websites. This is very important. One-page websites. Can someone tell me what are the options to make a one-page website? Netik and Dhutiman. Again, I need a yes from you guys, if you know the answer. One-page websites. Which softwares allow us to make a one-page website? I would like to have again an answer of IDK if you don't know. Okay, Netik, yes, of course I know. You should know that. Dhrutiman should also know that, but I would like to know how many of you know. If you don't know, you can just write IDK. Okay, Neil, thank you. IDK is a very good answer. Pranali says. Venkata says Canva. Okay, I'm not familiar with Canva. Venkata, I don't know. So I don't know if it does not. I don't know. Is it Canva or Canvas you want to do it? Anyhow, whatever. I don't know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, so what about Dhrutiman? Dhrutiman, I've not received your response in this question. And there are lots of people that they have not responded. I'm again expecting that they're not here, of course. Otherwise, IDK is a valid answer that you might want to do. Okay, yes. Okay, there are issues there. Okay, no problem. What is that issue, Dhrutiman? Yes, Dhrutiman, we are talking about single page applications. Which softwares are used to make single page applications, Dhrutiman? Yes, Netik, what is the answer? Yes, Dhrutiman. Oh, Dhrutiman, what's the answer? Yes, can you tell me the answer as well? Yes, React and Angular. So they are single page applications, Wonderful. Vue as well, right? Okay, let's move forward. So current trends, interesting scrolling, interactive websites, storytelling, and parallax is the take on that. High quality photos and videos should be there. Fresh colors. Colors should not be that dim or that rainbow kind of things. Bold typography, large, easy to read, well, works well at all font sizes. We have to take care of the font sizes as well. The font sizes should be taken care of properly. So content first, and then fixed position, headers and navigation, infinite scroll loading, longer pages. So that's basically the trends current right now. In summary, we have functional visual, Google Maps, there should be functional visual, and the speed of the software has to be very fast. Right, so this is that over there. So any questions for today? As I said, it's a very small one. That's why last week I had done the project so that we can just make it. So any questions from anyone? Okay, Abdullah, thank you. All right, so we're stopping here, of course, as I said, and we'll be just keeping that. And next week will be exam. Exam, as I said, would be much more like the that we had our first like midterm. But I will explain you that thing. And again, that would be online. And please keep in mind, if I find anyone cheated something, copying something from someone else, helping someone, in both cases, you will. So again, because in our quizzes and something like that, I've seen that a lot of people from this group also, they will be helping the others, and answers show that. Answers definitely show that. And if anything happens from your side, I will definitely cancel your exam as well as with the person who is copied that one, cheated that one. Does that make sense, Tarani? If I find that you were involved in maybe communicating something and it is proved, of course, you will be in hot waters. But of course, so that's why never ever just communicate what you have done. And when you are done with the exam, if I will know that you have communicated that one, you will be in a dire problem, right? Does that make sense, Tarani and everyone? Okay, thank you, Tarani. So I'm just keeping this till this point, and best of luck. See you all in the next week exam, same times. So I'll just turn on the exam and I'll just give you the details of that one, how the exam will happen, what will happen, and what will be the content. Content will be everything that we have discussed. Format will be like midterm exam and like that. So and more details I'll just write that in the chat in the announcement that I'll make. Another thing that I would like to just mention here, that I would put its announcement on Teams. So definitely respond to them, because I would always I hardly see anyone seeing the team message and responding to that one. Please always respond, and you might get a benefit of responding that way. So that's something that we should keep in mind. Right. Thank you very much, everyone, and enjoy your day. And I would like to meet you now on next Friday, for example. Next Tuesday, for example. Thank you very much, Nathan. Thank you.